The stars looked peaceful from the bridge of the ship New Sol. Admiral Taman stood at the command window, watching the distant lights twinkle in the darkness. His crew worked quietly around him. Navigator So Young checked their position. Weapons Specialist Dongwu ran system tests. Communications Officer Hyejin monitored radio signals from across the galaxy. It was Hyejin who first heard the message that would change everything. "Admiral," she said, her voice tight with worry, "I'm picking up transmissions from the Vorthak Empire. They're discussing Earth." Taman walked over to her station. The Vorthak were known throughout the galaxy as conquerors. They took planets, enslaved the people, and used the resources for their empire. Every species feared them. "What are they saying?" Taman asked. Hyejin's fingers moved over her controls, cleaning up the signal. The alien voices became clearer. "They're calling Earth their next hunting ground. They say it will be easy. Just primitive creatures who barely know how to use fire." Dongwu laughed bitterly. "Primitive? Have they seen our weapons?" "They haven't been watching us closely," So Young said. "Earth is far from the main trade routes. Most aliens think we're still throwing rocks at each other." The transmission continued. The Vorthak talked about Earth's resources: clean water, rich soil, and billions of humans who could work as slaves in their mines and factories. They planned to arrive in 3 months with a full invasion fleet. "How many ships?" Taman asked. Hyejin listened carefully. "At least 200 warships. Maybe more." The bridge fell silent. Earth's space fleet had only 50 ships. They were good ships, but 50 against 200 was not good odds. "Send a message to Earth Command," Taman ordered. "Priority 1. Tell them what we heard." While Hyejin sent the message, Taman thought about his home planet. Earth was beautiful. Blue oceans, green forests, mountains that touched the sky. But more than that, Earth was alive in a way other planets weren't. Animals and humans lived together. They helped each other. It was something special. The Vorthak didn't understand this. They saw only resources to take and people to control. 3 weeks later, the first Vorthak scouts arrived at Earth. They landed in the mountains of Korea, thinking the area was empty. They were wrong. Captain Ji-hoon was leading his special forces team through training exercises when the alien ship appeared. His soldiers were practicing moving quietly through the forest. They worked with the land, not against it. They knew every tree, every rock, every animal path. "What is that?" Sergeant Kang-ho whispered, pointing at the strange metal ship. Ji-hoon used his binoculars. The ship was unlike anything made on Earth. It was black and covered in spikes. As they watched, a door opened and creatures came out. The aliens were tall and thin with gray skin and 4 arms. They carried weapons that glowed with energy. They looked around the forest like they owned it. "They're scanning," said Private Hyan-soo. "Looking for life signs." Ji-hoon made quick hand signals to his team. 20 soldiers moved through the trees without making a sound. They had trained for years to move like this. The aliens never saw them coming. The attack was fast and brutal. Human soldiers appeared from behind rocks and trees. They moved like wolves hunting in a pack. The aliens were surprised. Their weapons were powerful, but they couldn't hit targets they couldn't see. In 5 minutes, it was over. Most of the aliens were dead. One was badly hurt but alive. Ji-hoon's team had only minor injuries. The wounded alien looked at the humans with fear in its large black eyes. It spoke in its own language, then switched to broken galactic standard. You fight like beasts," it gasped. "Not like the others. Not like civilized species. We fight like humans," Ji-hoon said coldly. "Remember that." The alien tried to reach for a communication device. Ji-hoon stepped on its hand. "Send your message," he said. "Tell your people what you found here." The alien activated the device with its other hand. It spoke rapidly in its own language. Ji-hoon didn't understand the words, but he understood the tone. Fear, warning, respect. When the message was sent, Ji-hoon's team secured the alien ship and took the survivor prisoner. They called for pickup and waited. Private Minjun found strange equipment inside the ship. "Sir, look at this," he said. He held up a device covered in pictures and text. "I think it's information about other planets they've attacked." Ji-hoon looked at the images. Planet after planet showed the same pattern. Beautiful worlds turned into gray factories. Alien species working as slaves. Native animals killed or caged. It made him sick. "They destroy everything," said Sergeant Kang-ho. "They don't just take over. They kill the planet itself." The pickup arrived an hour later. General Kyung-soo himself came to see the alien ship and prisoner. He was a serious man who had fought in many wars, but when he saw the images from the alien device, his face went pale. "How many worlds?" he asked Ji-hoon. "At least 30 that we can see," Ji-hoon replied. "Maybe more." The alien prisoner was taken to a secure facility. Under questioning, it revealed more about Vorthak plans. They had conquered over 100 worlds. They always followed the same pattern. Overwhelming force, complete destruction of local culture, enslavement or death for all native species. But something was different about their experience on Earth. The alien kept talking about how humans fought. It said they moved like predators, like pack hunters, like they were connected to the land itself. "Other species fight for their cities," the alien said through a translator. "They fight for their governments. You fight like the planet itself is alive and angry." Dr. Sujin, a scientist who studied alien life, was present for the questioning. She found this comment very interesting. "What do you mean?" she asked. The alien's large eyes looked directly at her. "Your people don't fight alone. The land helps you. The trees hide you. You move like animals but think like machines. It's not natural." "It's not civilized," Dr. Sujin smiled. "No," she said. "It's not civilized. It's something better. It's home." The alien shuddered. General Kyung-soo called an emergency meeting of Earth's military leaders. Representatives from every nation attended. They shared the information about the coming invasion. They shared the images of destroyed worlds. They shared the aliens' words about how humans fought. "We have 3 months," the general said. 3 months to prepare for an enemy that has never lost a war. They have better weapons, more ships, more experience. "But they don't understand us," said Colonel Sung-ho, who commanded the Marine Forces. "They think we're just another species to conquer. They don't know what Earth really is." "What do you mean?" asked Admiral Taemin, who had returned from space. Sung-ho looked around the room. "Earth isn't just our planet. It's our partner. Every animal, every plant, every living thing here is part of our world. The Vorthak kill everything that isn't useful to them, but we learn to live with everything. That's our strength." Dr. Sujin nodded. The alien was right. "We don't fight alone. We never have. When humans fight, Earth fights with us." General Kyung-soo stood up. "Then let's show them what happens when you threaten a living world. Let's show them what Earth can do when it's angry." The meeting ended with new orders going out across the planet. This would not be a normal war. This would be something the galaxy had never seen before. The Vorthak thought they were coming to hunt primitive beasts. They had no idea that the beasts were about to hunt them back. Dr. Sujin stood in her laboratory, staring at the alien data they had recovered. The images of dead worlds glowed on her computer screen. Each planet told the same horrible story. The Vorthak didn't just conquer civilizations. They murdered entire ecosystems. "Look at this," she said to her assistant, Dr. Minna. Planet Zelos had 67 different species of animals before the Vorthak arrived. After 1 year of occupation, only 3 species remained. All of them were used for labor or food. Minna, who specialized in animal behavior, felt sick looking at the images. They kill everything that isn't immediately useful to them. Every predator, every plant that doesn't produce food, every creature that can't work in their factories. "It's not just cruel," Sujin said. "It's stupid. They destroy the balance that keeps planets healthy. Look at these soil reports. Within 5 years, most Vorthak-controlled worlds become wastelands. This discovery changed everything about Earth's defense planning. The military leaders had been thinking about protecting human cities and factories. But the real target was much bigger. The Vorthak wanted to kill Earth itself. Meanwhile, Commander Inho was preparing for the most dangerous mission of his life. Using technology stolen from the Vorthak scout ship, his team was going to try something that had never been done before. They were going to contact other species that had survived Vorthak attacks. His crew was small but skilled. Pilot Nari could fly anything with engines. Intelligence analyst Wu Jin could break any code and speak 12 different alien languages. Together, they climbed aboard the modified ship Ghostwind and left Earth's solar system. It took them 2 weeks to reach the Kelos system. According to Vorthak records, this area had been pacified 10 years ago. But there were rumors that some natives had escaped to the outer moons. "I'm detecting energy signatures," Nari reported as they approached the third moon. "Definitely not Vorthak technology." "Could be natural," Wu Jin said, but he didn't sound convinced. Inho made the decision. Send the message we prepared. Let them know we're from Earth and we're here to help. They broadcast on all frequencies. The message was simple. We are humans from Earth. The Vorthak are coming to attack our world. We want to talk to anyone who has fought them before. For 6 hours, nothing happened. Then a small ship appeared from behind the moon. It was damaged and patched with different materials, but it moved with purpose. Incoming transmission, Nari announced. The voice that came through their speakers was like nothing they had ever heard. It was musical but also harsh, like a cat trying to sing. Wu Jin worked frantically with his translation equipment. Finally, words appeared on his screen. You claim to be from the third planet of the Yellow Star, the planet the Vorthak call their next hunting ground. Yes, Inho replied. We are humans. We know the Vorthak are coming for us. Then you are already dead, the voice said sadly. The Vorthak have never failed to conquer a world. We are Kalhari. We have been fighting them for 10 years. We survive, but we do not win. Maybe we can change that, Inho said. Maybe together we can find a way to hurt them. There was a long pause. Then the alien ship moved closer. Follow us. But know this, humans. Hope is a luxury we can no longer afford. The Kalhari base was hidden inside an asteroid. It was small and cramped, but it was alive with activity. The aliens themselves looked like a cross between cats and humans. They had fur in various colors, large eyes, and moved with fluid grace. The Kalhari leader was an old female named Sharwin. Her fur was gray with age and one of her ears was missing. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of too many losses. Your people fight well for primitives, she said after hearing about the attack on the Vorthak scouts. But fighting well and winning are different things. We fought well too. Now most of our people are dead or enslaved. Tell us about their weaknesses, Inho requested. Sharwin laughed bitterly. Weaknesses. They are strong, fast, and smart. Their weapons are better than ours. Their ships are faster. Their numbers are endless. There must be something, Wu Jin insisted. You've survived for 10 years. How? We hide. We run. We strike only when we are certain of escape. Sharwin looked directly at Inho. But you cannot hide a planet. You cannot run from a full invasion fleet, Nari spoke up. What about their technology? Any flaws in their systems? Their neural interfaces, said a younger Kalhari named Dekron. They connect their minds directly to their machines. It makes them efficient, but if you can disrupt the signal, they become confused and slow. How do you disrupt it? Inho asked. Certain sound frequencies, high-pitched noises. Some of our people can produce these sounds naturally. It's one reason a few of us are still alive. Wu Jin was taking notes rapidly. What frequencies exactly? The Kalhari shared everything they knew. Vorthak battle tactics, ship designs, communication protocols. Most importantly, they shared their greatest discovery. The Vorthak feared anything they couldn't control or predict. They conquer by overwhelming force and terror, Sharwin explained. They expect their enemies to fight like civilized beings, with formations and strategies and predictable patterns. When we started fighting like wild animals, it confused them. What do you mean? Nari asked. Dekron showed them a recording from one of their raids. Kalhari warriors moved through a Vorthak facility like shadows. They attacked from impossible angles. They used the environment as a weapon. They fought like predators hunting prey. You fight like pack hunters, Inho realized. Like wolves. We fight like Kalhari, Sharwin corrected. We fight like ourselves, not like the civilized species the Vorthak expect to face. Inho smiled. We need to get this information back to Earth, and we need to ask you something. What? Would you be willing to help us fight? Not just survive, but actually fight to win? Sharwin stared at him for a long moment. You really think you can defeat them? I think we can surprise them, Inho said. And sometimes surprise is enough. Back on Earth, Colonel Seung-ho was working on the most unusual military program in human history. The idea had come from Dr. Minna's research into animal behavior. If humans were going to fight like beasts, why not fight alongside actual beasts? The first test was with wolves. A pack from the Korean mountains was brought to a military base. Dr. Minna worked with them while Seung-ho's Marines watched. Wolves are natural pack hunters, she explained to the soldiers. They communicate through body language, scent, and sound. They coordinate attacks better than most human military units. Sergeant Kang Ho, who had fought the Vorthak scouts, raised his hand. Are you saying we should learn to fight like wolves? I'm saying you should learn to fight with wolves, Minna replied. The first attempts were disasters. Soldiers made too much noise. They moved wrong. They smelled like chemicals and fear. The wolves wanted nothing to do with them. But slowly, things changed. Private Hyun-soo discovered he had a natural ability to communicate with the pack leader, a large gray wolf the soldiers nicknamed Thunder. Marine Yoonji learned to move silently through the forest by copying how the wolves placed their feet. Within a month, something amazing happened. The wolves began to accept the humans as part of their pack, not as leaders or followers, but as equals. "Watch this," Minna said to General Kyung-soo during a demonstration. She gave a hand signal to Sergeant Kang-ho. Without making a sound, he signaled to Thunder. The wolf howled once and the entire pack spread out through the forest. At the same time, the human soldiers moved to their positions. They didn't coordinate through radios or hand signals. They moved like a pack, each member knowing instinctively where the others would be. "Incredible," the general breathed. "This is just the beginning," Minna said. "We're starting similar programs with other species. Tigers for jungle warfare, eagles for reconnaissance, dolphins for naval operations." But the most important development came from an unexpected source. Dr. Soo-jin was studying whale songs when she made a discovery that would change everything. "Listen to this," she said, playing a recording of humpback whale communication. "Now listen to this." She played a Vorthak neural interface signal. "Do you hear it?" Dr. Minna listened carefully. "They're both using harmonic frequencies. But the whale song is much more complex." "Exactly. Whale songs naturally create interference patterns in the same frequency range as Vorthak neural interfaces. If we could amplify whale songs and broadcast them, we could disrupt their entire command structure," Minna finished. Engineer Boram was brought in to work on the technical aspects. She was a genius with communication systems and sound engineering. Within weeks, she had developed equipment that could translate whale songs into electronic warfare weapons. "The whales don't just sing," she explained to the military commanders. "They create three-dimensional sound maps of the ocean. We can use the same principle to map and disrupt Vorthak ship networks." General Kyung-soo looked around the room at his staff. Soldiers who fought with wolves, scientists who spoke with whales, engineers who turned animal sounds into weapons. "The Vorthak think they're coming to fight a primitive species," he said. "They have no idea what Earth really is." Commander In-ho's voice came through the communication system from space. "General, I'm returning with Kelhari allies and detailed intelligence on Vorthak tactics. But I have to warn you about something." "What is it?" War Chief Morgak stood on the bridge of his flagship Death's Edge, watching Earth grow larger on the view screen. The blue and green planet looked peaceful and defenseless. According to his intelligence reports, the humans had only a few dozen primitive warships and no unified defense system. "A beautiful world," said Sub-Commander Velkra, his second-in-command. "Rich in resources, the humans won't be able to resist us for more than a few days." Morgax nodded, but something bothered him. The report from the scout team 3 months ago had been unusual. The survivors spoke of humans who fought like wild animals, who moved through forests like ghosts, who seemed to know the land better than the creatures that lived on it. "What do our long-range scans show?" he asked his sensor operator. "No orbital defense platforms, no weapon satellites. The human ships are scattered throughout the system, not in defensive formations. Most of their population centers appear undefended." It was exactly what Morgax had expected, but it felt wrong somehow. In 100 previous conquests, there had always been some attempt at organized resistance. Fleets gathering to meet them in space. Evacuation of civilians, desperate calls for help to other species. From Earth, there was only silence. Captain Jae-sung watched the Vorthak fleet from the bridge of his stealth ship, Silent Thunder. His vessel was hidden in the shadow of an asteroid, its engines cold and sensors passive. The enemy fleet was massive. Over 200 warships arranged in perfect formation. "Count them again," he told his systems engineer, Yejin. 217 ships confirmed, she replied, including 12 dreadnoughts and 43 heavy cruisers. They have enough firepower to burn the surface of a planet. Tactical Officer Hyunwoo studied the enemy formations. They're not expecting any real resistance. Look at their approach vector. They're coming straight in. No attempt at tactical maneuvering. Jae-sung activated his secret communication array. The signal would take hours to reach Earth, but it was undetectable by Vorthak sensors. "Earth Command, this is Silent Thunder. Enemy fleet confirmed at 217 vessels. They will reach Earth orbit in 18 hours. The response came back quickly. It was General Kyung-soo's voice, calm and steady. Understood, Silent Thunder. Phase 1 is authorized. Show them what they're really facing. On Earth, the final preparations were complete. In forests around the world, mixed units of human soldiers and wolves waited in carefully prepared positions. In the oceans, pods of whales and dolphins worked with human submarine crews. In the mountains, eagles and hawks carried tiny cameras that fed information directly to human commanders. Dr. Soo-jin stood in the primary command center, watching feeds from around the planet. All animal communication networks are active, she reported to General Kyung-soo. We have real-time coordination between every major ecosystem on Earth. It had taken months to set up, but Earth's animals were now part of a single, planet-wide intelligence network. Whale songs carried messages across the oceans. Bird calls coordinated air reconnaissance. Even insects were part of the system, creating a web of information that covered every square meter of the planet. Colonel Sung-ho checked his personal equipment one more time. He would be leading the first ground response when the Vorthak landed. His unit included 20 Marine soldiers and a pack of 8 wolves led by Thunder. They had trained together for months. They moved as one organism now. Remember, he told his troops, we're not trying to win the first battle. We're trying to show them that everything they think they know about humans is wrong. Dr. Minna was with the naval units in the Pacific Ocean. Her team had spent weeks learning to coordinate with whale pods. The massive creatures could generate sound patterns that would disrupt Vorthak neural interfaces from hundreds of kilometers away. The whales understand what's happening, she reported to headquarters. They know these aliens are a threat to all life on Earth. They're ready. Engineer Boram was in the Space Communications Center, monitoring the frequencies the Vorthak used for their neural interfaces. Her equipment could turn any animal sound on Earth into a weapon against alien technology. I'm reading their command signals now, she said. The whale songs will interfere with their communications, but we need to wait for the right moment. The Vorthak fleet reached Earth's outer atmosphere right on schedule. War Chief Morgax expected the humans to surrender immediately when they saw the size of his force. Instead, he received a simple message broadcast on all frequencies. The voice was calm and spoke in perfect Vorthak language. This is General Kyung-soo of Earth Defense Command. You are not welcome here. Leave now and you will not be harmed, Morgax laughed. Not be harmed by humans? They have 50 ships against our 200. He opened a channel. Primitive humans, you will surrender unconditionally or we will burn your cities from orbit. The reply came immediately. We tried to warn you. Earth is not like the other worlds you have conquered. Last chance to leave. Begin the bombardment, Morgax ordered. Target their largest cities first. The Vorthak fleet opened fire with energy weapons designed to terrorize populations into surrender. Beams of plasma streaked down toward Earth's major cities. But something impossible happened. The beams twisted and bent, missing their targets by kilometers. What's wrong with our targeting systems? Morgax demanded. Sir, our computers show direct hits, but the energy is being deflected somehow. Dr. Soo-jin smiled as she watched the results on her screens. Magnetic field manipulation is working perfectly, she reported. The whale's bioelectric fields are creating interference patterns that bend the plasma beams. It had been her most ambitious project. Using the natural magnetic fields generated by Earth's largest creatures, they had created a planetary defense system that could deflect energy weapons. The Vorthak were firing accurately, but Earth itself was moving the shots away from populated areas. War Chief Morgax stared at his displays in confusion. How are they doing this? Energy weapons can't be deflected by primitive technology. Sir, I'm detecting massive biological activity on the planet's surface, his sensor operator reported. Large concentrations of animal life moving in coordinated patterns. Animals? Animals can't affect space weapons, but the evidence was right there on his screens. Every time his fleet fired, massive groups of creatures across Earth's surface responded. Whales sang in the oceans. Birds flew in complex formations. Even the planet's magnetic field seemed to shift and change. It's impossible, Subcommander Velcro whispered. They're using their entire planet as a defense system. Morgax decided to change tactics. If orbital bombardment wasn't working, they would land troops and conquer the old-fashioned way. Launch invasion pods. Target the area where our scouts were attacked. We'll show these humans what happens when they resist the Vorthak Empire. 1,000 drop pods fell toward Earth's surface like metal rain. Each pod contained 10 Vorthak warriors armed with the finest weapons in the galaxy. They were elite troops who had conquered dozens of worlds. The first pods landed in the Korean mountains where Captain Ji-hoon had ambushed the scouts months earlier. The Vorthak warriors emerged ready for battle. They expected to face frightened humans hiding in caves. Instead, they found nothing. The forest was completely silent. No birds sang. No insects buzzed. Even the wind seemed to have stopped. The Vorthak moved forward cautiously, their sensors scanning for any sign of life. "This is Squad Leader Gexmore to command," one of them reported. "Landing zone secured. No enemy contact." That's when the attack began. It started with the ground itself. Plants that looked harmless suddenly entangled alien legs. Trees dropped branches on Vorthak warriors. Even the soil seemed to shift and move, creating holes that trapped the invaders. Then came the animals. Wolves appeared from behind rocks and trees, moving in perfect coordination with human soldiers. The Vorthak couldn't tell where the animals ended and the humans began. They fought as a single organism, but the most terrifying thing was the sound. From every direction came noises that hurt Vorthak minds. Wolf howls, bird cries, and whale songs combined into frequencies that disrupted their neural interfaces. Their weapons stopped working. Their armor systems failed. Their communications went dead. Squad Leader Gexmore tried to call for help, but his radio produced only static. Around him, his warriors stumbled and fell as their enhanced reflexes failed. The humans and animals moved through the chaos like they were born for it. In 15 minutes, an entire Vorthak squad was dead or captured. The survivors were in shock. These weren't the civilized battles they were used to. This was something primal and terrifying. Similar scenes played out across the planet wherever Vorthak troops landed. In jungles, tigers and human special forces worked together to hunt alien soldiers. In the Arctic, polar bears and human rangers used ice and snow as weapons. In deserts, even the sand seemed to fight against the invaders. War Chief Morgax watched his invasion force get destroyed one landing zone at a time. His elite warriors, who had never known defeat, were being defeated by creatures they considered barely above animals. "How many troops have we lost?" he asked. 40% of the first wave, Sub-Commander Velcro reported. "The survivors are requesting immediate evacuation." Evacuation? These are humans. Primitive animals. Lieutenant Subin crouched in the shadows with her wolf pack, watching the Vorthak forward base through the trees. The aliens had built their outpost in what used to be a peaceful valley. Now it was full of metal buildings, weapons platforms, and scared alien soldiers. The base was supposed to be secure. Sensors covered every approach. Automated weapons guarded the perimeter. Energy shields protected the main buildings. But the Vorthak had made one critical mistake. They didn't understand that Earth itself was the enemy. "Thunder, Silver, Storm," Subin whispered to the 3 wolves beside her. She didn't need to say more. They had worked together for months. Each wolf knew its role perfectly. Thunder, the pack leader, melted into the forest to circle around the base. Silver, the fastest, would create a distraction. Storm, the smartest, would help Subin breach the main building. The other 5 wolves in the pack moved to their own positions without making a sound. At exactly midnight, the attack began. Silver appeared at the edge of the base perimeter and howled once. The Vorthak sensors immediately detected her and targeted her with their automated weapons, but Silver was already gone, racing through the trees faster than the alien computers could track. The Vorthak guards rushed toward the disturbance, leaving other sections of the base less defended. That's when thunder struck from the opposite direction. The huge wolf moved like a gray shadow, somehow avoiding every sensor as he approached the power station. Subin and Storm moved through the chaos toward the command center. The Vorthak soldiers were confused and frightened. Their neural interfaces kept malfunctioning because Earth's animals were constantly producing the sound frequencies that disrupted alien technology. "Where are they coming from?" one alien soldier shouted in his own language. "Everywhere," another replied. "The scanners show life signs all around us, but we can't see anything." Storm led Subin to a weak point in the base's defenses that only an animal could have found. A drainage tunnel too small for Vorthak warriors but perfect for a human soldier and a wolf. They crawled through the darkness until they emerged inside the command center. The Vorthak base commander was trying desperately to contact his fleet in orbit. His equipment kept failing, producing static mixed with the sounds of howling wolves and singing whales. "This is Ground Base 7 to Fleet Command," he said into his communicator. We are under attack by animals and humans working together. Our systems are not functioning properly. Subin stepped out of the shadows with Storm beside her. Your systems are functioning perfectly, she said in broken Vorthak language. Earth just doesn't like them. The alien commander reached for his weapon, but Storm was faster. The wolf knocked him down without seriously hurting him. Around the base, the sounds of battle were getting louder. But these weren't the sounds of civilized warfare. These were the sounds of predators hunting prey. By dawn, the base was destroyed and its occupants were prisoners. Not a single human soldier had been seriously injured. The wolves had suffered no casualties at all. But more importantly, they had captured detailed information about Vorthak fleet positions and tactics. In space, Admiral Taemin was leading a very different kind of battle. His fleet was smaller than the Vorthak force, but it had capabilities the aliens had never encountered before. The human ships carried pods filled with Earth's most intelligent marine life. Dolphins and whales whose echolocation abilities had been enhanced and connected to the ship's navigation systems. The result was a space force that could see enemy vessels better than any radar or scanner. Pod 7 is detecting 3 Vorthak ships trying to flank us from behind the asteroid field, reported Navigator So Young. How can they detect ships through solid rock? Admiral Taemin asked. The Dolphins are using enhanced echolocation, Engineer Boram explained through the communication system. Sound waves that can penetrate most materials. The whales are processing the returning signals faster than our computers can. Taemin smiled. Let's show these aliens how Earth fights in space. All ships, execute Wolfpack formation. The human fleet spread out through the asteroid field, moving in patterns that seemed random, but were actually based on how Wolfpacks hunt large prey. Each ship knew where the others would be without constant communication. They moved by instinct and training. When the Vorthak ships emerged from behind the asteroids, they found themselves surrounded. But the human attack was unlike anything in their tactical databases. Instead of exchanging fire at long range like civilized species, the human ships moved in close and struck with precision. The Vorthak weapons were more powerful, but they couldn't hit targets that moved like living creatures instead of machines. The human pilots flew their ships like they were extensions of their own bodies, dodging and weaving through enemy fire. Impossible, War Chief Morgax said as he watched the battle from his flagship. No species fights like this in space. There are rules, formations, tactics. The humans don't seem to know the rules, Sub-Commander Velcro replied nervously. The battle was over in 20 minutes. Half the Vorthak flanking force was destroyed, and the rest were in retreat. The human fleet had lost only 2 ships, and both crews had been rescued by their companions. But the most devastating attack was yet to come. Deep in Earth's oceans, Dr. Mina was working with the largest creatures on the planet. Blue whales, humpback whales, and killer whales had gathered in groups larger than had ever been seen before. They were preparing to use their most powerful ability. Are you sure this will work? Asked Commander Inho, who had returned from his mission to the Kalahari with a small fleet of alien allies. Whale songs can travel thousands of kilometers underwater, Mina explained. We've learned to amplify them and focus them into space. If we can get all the whales singing together, we can disrupt every Vorthak ship in the solar system, Engineer Boram finished. Their neural interfaces operate on frequencies that whale songs naturally interfere with. The attack began at noon, Earth time. Every whale in every ocean began to sing at once. Their songs were ancient and beautiful, but they were also weapons. The sound waves traveled through water, through rock, and into space itself, carried by Earth's magnetic field. The effect on the Vorthak fleet was immediate and devastating. Neural interfaces failed throughout their ships. Warriors collapsed as their enhanced nervous systems overloaded. Computer systems crashed. Even their life support began to malfunction. War Chief Morgax found himself on the floor of his bridge, his forearms trembling as whale songs overwhelmed his cybernetic implants. Around him, his crew was in similar condition. The bridge lights flickered and died. Emergency systems failed to activate. What is happening to us? He gasped. His science officer, one of the few Vorthak who used minimal cybernetic enhancement, managed to stay conscious. It's some kind of sonic attack, she said weakly. But it's not coming from their ships. It's coming from the planet itself. Through the static of their failing communication systems, they could hear something that chilled them to their core. The sounds of Earth. Not just whale songs, but the voices of every living thing on the planet. Wolves howling, birds singing, insects buzzing. Even the wind through the trees seemed to be part of a massive coordinated attack. The entire planet is fighting us, the science officer whispered. Every creature, every plant, every drop of water. How is this possible? Colonel Seong-ho provided the answer from the surface. His voice came through their damaged speakers calm and clear despite the chaos around them. You asked how this is possible, he said. It's simple. You've been conquering civilizations. We are not a civilization. We are part of something bigger. We are Earth. To prove his point, Sung-ho activated a planet-wide communication network that had taken months to build. Every animal, every forest, every ecosystem on Earth was connected through natural bioelectric fields and enhanced technology. The result was something the galaxy had never seen before. An entire planet acting as a single living organism. When one part was threatened, every other part responded. When wolves howled in Korea, whales sang in the Pacific. When tigers moved in India, eagles flew in America. You see your mistake now, Seung-ho continued. You thought you were fighting 7 billion individual humans. But we are not individuals. We never have been. We are part of Earth, and Earth is part of us. The Kelari ships that had come with Commander In-ho watched in amazement as the Human-Earth Alliance demonstrated something impossible. Sharwin, the old Kelhari leader, opened a communication channel to In-ho. In all our years of fighting the Vorthak, we never imagined anything like this, she said. Your species doesn't just live on your planet. You are your planet. Now you understand why we asked you to help us fight instead of just survive, In-ho replied. This isn't about revenge. It's about showing the galaxy that there's a different way to live. The whale songs continued for 6 hours. When they finally stopped, half the Vorthak fleet was completely disabled. The remaining ships were barely functional. Hundreds of alien warriors were unconscious or worse. War Chief Morgak struggled to his feet as his bridge system slowly came back online. His proud invasion force was in ruins. His elite warriors were beaten by creatures they considered animals. His advanced technology had been defeated by songs and howls. The final battle began at dawn on Earth and spread across the solar system like a living thing. Captain Ji-hoon led the ground assault on the main Vorthak landing site, but he wasn't leading just human soldiers anymore. Behind him came an army unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Wolves ran alongside Marines. Tigers moved with special forces. Eagles circled overhead, their sharp eyes spotting enemy positions and relaying information to human commanders. Even the trees seemed to bend and move to help the advancing forces. But the most amazing sight was the aliens who fought beside them. Kelhari warriors moved through the forest like shadows, their natural stealth abilities enhanced by months of training with Earth's animals. Other survivors from Vorthak-conquered worlds had joined them. Species that had been enemies were now fighting side by side against their common oppressor. This is impossible, War Chief Morgak said as he watched the battle from his command ship's view screen. Different species cannot coordinate like this. They should be fighting each other, not us. Sub-Commander Velcro stared at the impossible scene below. Sir, I count at least 12 different alien species in their ground forces, plus humans, plus Earth animals. They're all working together. On the ground, the reality was even more incredible than it looked from space. Sharwin, the old Kelhari leader, fought alongside Thunder the Wolf as if they had been partners for years. Her natural ability to move silently combined with the wolf's hunting instincts created a team that no Vorthak warrior could match. Dekron, the young Kelhari, worked with a group of human engineers and dolphins to disable Vorthak vehicles. The dolphins used their echolocation to find weak points in alien armor, while the humans and Kelhari applied the precise strikes needed to destroy the targets. But the most devastating combination was Dr. Minna working with the whales. Every time the Vorthak tried to use their advanced technology, the whale songs disrupted their neural interfaces. Alien weapons stopped working. Communication systems failed. Even their powered armor became useless metal shells. We need to evacuate the surface immediately, Velcro advised. Our ground forces are being destroyed. Morgax refused to accept defeat. Prepare the planet killer weapon. If we cannot conquer this world, we will destroy it completely. The planet killer was the Vorthak Empire's ultimate weapon, a device that could crack a world's crust and turn it into a ball of molten rock. They had used it on 3 worlds whose populations had refused to surrender. But as the weapon charged, something unexpected happened. Commander Inho's voice came through their communication system. War Chief Morgax, this is Commander Inho of the Earth Defense Fleet. We know about your planet killer weapon. We also know you're afraid to use it. Afraid? Morgax snarled. The Vorthak fear nothing. Then why haven't you fired it yet? Inho asked calmly. I'll tell you why. Because you know that if you destroy Earth, every survivor of every world you've conquered will hunt you across the galaxy, and now they know they can win. The truth of those words hit Morgax like a physical blow. For the first time, he realized the scope of what was happening. This wasn't just a battle for Earth. This was a revolution that would spread to every corner of the galaxy. The communication continued, but now it wasn't just Inho's voice. Representatives from dozens of species were speaking, their words translated into Vorthak language. This is Sharwin of the Kelhari. We have shared our knowledge of your weaknesses with Earth. This is Telvor of the Zimbathi. Our people remember how you poisoned our oceans. We are coming for you. This is Merjin of the Crystalline Collective. You thought you had destroyed us all. You were wrong. Species after species, world after world, the voices continued. Civilizations the Vorthak thought they had completely conquered were still alive, still fighting, and now they knew that the Empire could be defeated. How many? Morgax whispered. His intelligence officer checked her reports with shaking hands. At least 40 species have made contact with Earth in the past 6 hours. They're sharing tactical information, ship designs, weapon specifications, everything they've learned about fighting us. Dr. Sujin's voice joined the communication from Earth's surface. War Chief Morgax, you wanted to conquer planets. But planets are not just rocks and resources. They are living systems, communities of life that support each other. What you never understood, General Kyungsu added, is that when you attack one part of a living system, the whole system fights back. Earth has been teaching the galaxy how to do that. As if to prove their point, the space around Earth suddenly filled with ships. Not just human vessels, but craft from dozens of different species. Some were battle-scarred survivors from the outer rim. Others were sleek vessels that had been hidden for decades in asteroid fields and dead systems. The Kelhari fleet that had come with Inho was just the beginning. Now the space around Earth looked like a gathering of every species the Vorthak had ever wronged. Admiral Taemin opened communication channels to coordinate the massive Allied fleet. All vessels, this is Admiral Taemin of Earth Defense. Welcome to our home. Let's show the Vorthak what happens when the galaxy decides to fight back. The battle that followed was not really a battle at all. It was more like a demonstration. The Vorthak fleet was surrounded by enemies on all sides, but the attacking force didn't behave like a military formation. They moved like a living thing, each part supporting every other part. Human ships with their enhanced animal-computer interfaces provided coordination. Kelhari vessels used their stealth technology to disable Vorthak weapons. The Crystalline Collective's energy beings simply passed through Vorthak shields as if they didn't exist. Other species contributed their own unique abilities to the fight, but the most terrifying thing for the Vorthak was the sound. Earth's whales were still singing, but now they were joined by similar creatures from other worlds. The combined harmonies created interference patterns that shut down Vorthak technology completely. War Chief Morgax found himself commanding a fleet of floating metal shells. No weapons, no shields, no life support beyond basic air recycling. His proud warriors were helpless. Sir, his communications officer said quietly, I'm receiving a transmission from the planet's surface. It's a surrender demand. The transmission was from General Kyung-soo, but he wasn't alone. Behind him stood representatives from every species in the Allied fleet. Humans, Kelhari, Zimbathi, Crystallines, and dozens of others, all of them looking directly at Morgax. War Chief Morgax, the general said formally. The Galactic Liberation Alliance offers you terms for surrender. Galactic Liberation Alliance? Morgax repeated. The organization we just formed, General Kyung-soo replied. Earth and our allies have decided that the age of conquest is over. Species that want to expand can do so through cooperation, not domination. Sharwin stepped forward. You wanted to know how we survived your attempts to exterminate us, she said. We survived by remembering that life supports life. That's what Earth taught us to do on a galactic scale. Dr. Sujin appeared on the screen next. You see, Morgax, you made a fundamental error. You thought evolution was about the survival of the strongest, but real evolution is about the survival of the most cooperative. Your terms? Morgax asked weakly. Simple, General Kyung-soo said. All Vorthak forces withdraw from every conquered world immediately. All enslaved populations are freed. Your empire ends today. And if we refuse? Commander Inho smiled grimly. Then every world you've ever conquered comes to visit you, all at once, and they bring their friends. To emphasize the point, more ships appeared around the Vorthak fleet, ancient vessels emerging from hiding, new ships built by liberated populations, even some that seemed to be grown rather than constructed. Morgax realized that his empire wasn't just defeated. It was surrounded by every enemy they had ever made, all of them working together in ways the Vorthak had never imagined possible. You have 1 hour to decide, General Kyung-soo said. Choose wisely. The communication ended, leaving Morgax alone with his thoughts and his dying fleet. An hour later, the most powerful empire in the galaxy surrendered to a planet that hadn't even known about space warfare 6 months earlier. The surrender ceremony took place on Earth's surface, in the same Korean forest where Captain Ji-hoon had first encountered Vorthak scouts. Representatives from hundreds of worlds attended, either in person or through quantum communication links. War Chief Morgax, once the terror of the galaxy, knelt in the dirt while Earth's creatures watched from the trees. Thunder the Wolf sat calmly nearby, no longer seeing the alien as a threat. By this act, General Kyung-soo announced, the Vorthak Empire formally dissolves. All conquered worlds are free. All enslaved populations are liberated. All resources taken by force will be returned. But the ceremony wasn't really about the Vorthak. It was about what came next. Dr. Soo-jin stepped forward with a document that would change galactic history. Today we also announce the formation of the Galactic Cooperation Council. Any species that wants to join the galactic community can do so, but only if they agree to protect life rather than exploit it. One by one, species that had been hiding and fighting for decades emerged to sign the agreement. The Kelhari, the Zimbathi, the Crystalline Collective, dozens of others.